everybody, in today's video let's talk about how to reclaim your personal power. Now the purpose for this video is if you've been feeling maybe, for example, that your life isn't going the direction that you want it to be. Maybe you've been feeling powerless. Maybe there's a change in your life that you want to make, but you can't seem to be able to make that change. In today's video we're going to fix that, we're going to solve it, we're going to get to the root of it so that you can overcome that issue and you can live the life that you want to live. So if that sounds like you, this video is for you, and I hope you enjoy it. By the end of the video, if you like the content, consider hitting subscribe. Also, I'm building a community, and you can join it by clicking the Patreon link in the description down below. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the content. As you know, this channel is really just based on personal and self-development and growth, and helping us be the most awesome version of ourselves. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. So reclaiming your personal power. Now, the main reason that this would even come about is from the feeling of powerlessness and having those changes that you want to make. So let's go ahead and attack it. First things first, I think it is important to develop a vision of exactly where you want to go. That way you're not just feeling like there's some sort of change that must be made, but you actually have a direction that you want to go and a direction that you want to take your life in. Now, it's very common for people to associate power as being a negative thing. Here's the thing about power. Power is a great thing. I guess power is simply the ability to create change, not only in your life, but also in other people's life. And so this feeling of powerlessness feels like you're not in control of your life, and it feels like other people are directing your life for you, and they're telling you where to go and what to do, and they're essentially directing you in whatever direction they want you to go. Now, although this works for some people, I would say that majority of us do not feel this way. We actually want to be able to control the direction of our lives. And with that being said, this feeling of powerlessness can come from not choosing your very own direction in life. So it's very important to, first of all, get really clear on that direction that you want to take your life in. Now, let's dig in further into the root of this feeling of powerlessness. I actually want you to question your relationship with the feeling of anger. Now, the thing is about anger is that society tells us that anger and feeling angry is wrong. The reason that they tell us that feeling angry is wrong is because anger most often, or it can often, lead to conflict between people. And there's nothing better than getting people to live the life that they want you to live by telling them they can't be angry. See, if I was in the position where I'm trying to suppress people, I'm trying to get them to follow, to do whatever I want them to do, of course I'm going to tell them to not be angry, because then they won't stand up against me, right? Think about it from that perspective. So if you're in a situation, for example, maybe you've had a family or society in general, they're telling you not to feel angry, that feeling angry is wrong. Why? Why are they telling you that it's wrong to feel angry? Most often, it comes down to a power control tactic. So you're actually essentially already giving up your power by not allowing yourself to feel angry. If you have this negative association with anger, it's usually because somebody's told you that it's wrong to feel angry. And if you feel that it's wrong to feel angry, you're not going to have that forward moving energy that's going to cause you to do something to change the situation that you're in. So take a look at your relationship with anger. Are you okay with feeling it? Now, with that being said, there's positive and negative expressions of this angry feeling. If you take an action out of anger and it's coming from a negative place, from a negative angry decision, right? It can often be very destructive. And with that being said, I understand that this relationship with anger, I've been in that same boat, that you don't necessarily want to take an angry action, because an angry action can lead to a negative consequence for yourself. For example, punching a hole in the wall, right? A lot of guys have punched a hole in the wall because they're angry. And although we're, trying to express that anger, how many times have you yourself paid the price for expressing that anger? Now, there's another way for simply letting the anger be and being with that anger and trying to understand the anger. That doesn't mean you have to take a negative action for it. In fact, if you actually take some time to listen and to understand the anger, you're going to actually understand that the reason that you feel angry about something is because you actually feel powerless underneath that anger because of something that is going on. And because you're feeling this anger and you feel this powerlessness, it's actually you yourself are trying to come out of that powerlessness feeling and using that anger to forward move yourself into something else. So now I can actually say, don't force yourself to take a positive action out of anger if you're not there yet and it's not a genuine expression of that anger. Just let the anger be. Honestly, if you want to break some stuff, find a safe way to break some stuff if it's not going to cause any harm to yourself and others. But as you express this anger and let that anger come out, wait for it to happen naturally, and eventually as you're getting deeper into this feeling and understanding it more, you will eventually find that positive expression of what it's telling you the change that you want to make actually is. If you feel angry at somebody, if you feel angry at yourself, what you're really being alerted to is that not only do you feel powerless about something, but there's a change that you want to make. But by understanding the powerlessness and the change that you want to make, you can actually eventually, after you let this anger go around your body and let it do its thing and feel the fire burning inside of you, you can actually take that anger to use it for something positive, or at least the understanding of the change that is wanted to be made, and take action from a positive place that is not going to be harmful to yourself and other people as well. Now, the next thing that I want you to do in the third step for reclaiming your personal power will be for you to understand that actually, first of all, nobody's going to give it back to you, so you have to take it back for yourself. And second of all, that you yourself are the one that gave it up in the first place. Now, this is going to be a tough realization for a lot of you, just like, hey, it was a tough realization for me. When I finally realized when I was in these states of powerlessness, that I was the one that actually allowed myself to get to this place, I recognized that for that same reason, because I was the one that gave up that power, I am the one that can also reclaim it. There are times that we maybe allow ourselves to give up that power, that maybe we allow ourselves to get taken advantage of when we knew there was something up. Or maybe we let the shame and the guilt of society tell us that it was wrong, and because of our fear of not being accepted in society, we gave up our personal power. And the issue that you're going to run into with this is, if you're in this state of powerlessness, I want you to ask yourself the question of authenticity within yourself. Are you being authentic to who you truly are at your core? Being authentic is probably one of the scariest things anybody can be, because the fact of authenticity is what you're really doing is you're allowing yourself to be fully out there as you truly are. And the thing is that we have to accept inside of ourselves, if we're going to be authentic with ourselves, is that there's both things that are perceived to be both positive and negative. Not that they actually are good and bad, according to what society says, but they are going to either be perceived one of the two ways. And if we're scared to be labeled as bad, we're scared biologically that we're going to be ostracized and removed from a group and therefore not have a safety net, and that is going to go against your survival instincts, and that is why people have such a difficult time being authentic, especially when society is trying to suppress people and not allow them to be their authentic selves. So as you push yourself to be your authentic self, first of all, you're going to have to accept yourself for who you are, and then to give yourself permission to be authentic. And right as you're doing that, two things are going to happen. You're going to pull a lot of people in. You're going to attract a lot of people that that really vibe with you, and you're also going to push away a lot of the people that were with you for your inauthentic self. So if you're scared of that loneliness, it's gonna come by for a little bit, honestly, but you're also gonna pull in other people. It's interesting, even doing this channel, seeing the type of people that are pushed away from this type of content, and that maybe, for example, leave negative comments or whatever. They want to say negative things about me, or they point out some flaw that they perceive in me, right? Which is understandable. They're entitled to whatever opinions they have, but that happens. And so those type of people get pushed away as I'm trying to be my full authentic self with you, yet other people come in. And I see some of you guys that comment and watch every single video, and we have this, some of us now even have incredible friendships, and like we talk now because you know, I'm being my authentic self and you guys resonate with that, and you guys get to be your authentic selves with me as well. So it's this really interesting dynamic where you're going to start causing these whole massive shifts in who's in your life. And in that process of authenticity, you're going to be reclaiming your personal power, because you are going to be standing fully with your personal integrity of who you are. And because you're going to be doing that, you're going to take back the power that you originally let go by allowing it to be taken away from you, when really you just released it, most likely for the need for acceptance by the group, for, you know, biological safety, which is totally understandable. I've done the same thing pretty much all of my life up until this past year, when I really started understanding these concepts. For example, I've wanted to make these videos for years. Literally years of wanting to make these videos, and I never did, because I never allowed myself to be my authentic self and actually publish these videos for you guys. And look at me now. I'm doing it, baby. Okay, cool. So that does it for the 3 steps in reclaiming your personal power. Really, the most important thing here is understanding that you have probably let it go yourself. And take the time to understand where you have let it go and why you have let it go. And for those reasons, you will now be able to do the work that you need to do in order to reclaim it. One last thing, one last little story before we log off here, is that I can say in my previous relationships, I felt the need to sacrifice who I have really been in my relationships in order to try to make the other people in my life happy, which sounds so simpy, right? You could say beta, simpy. It just sounds so dumb to people, but at that time it was the only thing that I felt was safe to do. So I understand many of you that have maybe been in a similar situation and have given yourselves up, just like I did, to try to make other people in life happy. Even if we don't want to admit it, because for the longest time I didn't want to admit it. But that's the truth of what I was doing. And now I'm not doing that anymore. And I feel so much happier. It feels great. So I encourage you to do the same thing. I encourage you to look inside of your life. Where have you given up your power? Why have you done it? Understand those things. Develop a good relationship with anger. Because as you develop that good relationship with anger, you are going to be able to understand what changes you want to make. So accept yourself, develop a good relationship with anger, and reclaim that personal power that you have given up in the first place. That is it for this video. To join the community of building that I'm of people that I'm building, where we're all talking about all this cool stuff and we're all on the same page, we're all vibing with each other. Click the link in the description down below, sign up for the Patreon, get into the private Discord, and have awesome conversations with us there. Also, we get to hang out there all the time. Cool, that does it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Hit subscribe. See you on the next one.